Hello everybody, this is Con, and today I am reviewing the Mini Cooper S Mini. Okay, this is the Mini Countryman plug-in hybrid. The official name of this car is too long. I put it in the description section. Read yourself up. Okay, so this is the Mini Countryman plug-in hybrid. End of story. Right. So the Mini Countryman in Malaysia has 4 variants. 3 of them locally assembled. There's the fully imported JCW range topping model. Okay, that's right up the top there, north of 300,000 ringgit. So the main selling variants of the Countryman are the Cooper. That's the 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbo at 226,000 ringgit. Then you have the 2 litre Cooper S at 232,000 ringgit, followed by this one. This is the range topping amongst the locally assembled variants. The PHEV is priced at 241,000 ringgit. So this PHEV model is powered by the 1.5 litre turbo engine up front. Okay, that's from the Cooper, powering the front wheels. At the rear, there's an electric motor that powers the rear axle. The front and rear not mechanically connected. So in essence, this is similar in concept to Volvo's plug-in hybrid setup. Okay, but the difference is that Volvo puts their hybrid batteries here along the center tunnel, whereas Mini puts the batteries at the back, still at the back, like most other hybrid and plug-in hybrid models in the market lah. Okay, now one thing to clarify, Mini, despite being part of the BMW group, right, this PHEV setup is totally different from that you see in the 740LE, the 530E, the 330E or the X540, because those cars, those BMW PHEVs, they run on the 2 litre B48 engine up front, mounted longitudinally with a drive shaft, send power to the rear wheels, and then the electric motor is sandwiched between the engine and transmission. This PHEV, because it's based on BMW's transverse engine UKL platform. Okay, so engine at front, motor at the rear. Okay, it's mechanically separate. So what this means is that when you drive this car in pure electric mode, right, it is effectively a rear wheel drive, and it is therefore a proper BMW. The only BMW model that shares this PHEV setup is the 225XE Active Tourer, which is not available for sale in Malaysia. So okay, that's the quick introduction of the Mini Countryman plug-in hybrid. Let's go outside for a quick walk around. Okay guys, so this is the XT of the Mini Countryman, and well, the overall shape and proportions is not what we are, it's not what we are familiar with from Mini. This is a very, make no mistake, this is a pretty bulky looking car. So even though, right, you still get all the traditional Mini styling cues, and you may even argue that the proportions are still Mini, but the dimensions, the size of this car is anything but Mini. Still, this typical of mini vehicles, right? The design is a standout. Okay, you won't mistake this car for anything else on the road. And if you live with this car long enough, right, the designers have left a lot of very nice small details for you to discover along the way during the journey of your ownership. So every day when you look at this car, right, especially in the first 6 months or 1 year of your ownership, you may discover something new that you have never previously noticed before, and that I would say, right, adds to the joy of owning this car. So let's look at the back, for example, to start with. So this rear end, Okay, this is of course, like you see, like the two vertical tail lights, for example, classic Mini design, right? But when you look inside, when you look closely, rather, you look at the tail lamps of the indicators. You see the Mini word printed on the lens of the indicators, which I think is a very nice touch. And of course, the Countryman being the crossover of the range, the bumper is finished in black with this gloss black here, and also the lower unpainted grey claddings. And of course, around at the side you get the SUV kind of finishing that runs all around the body. Okay, of course it's interlaced with the brush metal finish at the bottom, so it has a rugged kind of appearance. Of course, don't mistake this car for being actually mechanically rugged. It's not. It is just meant to do your regular city driving, no different from that of a hatchback, right? So there's also this little panel here, which on the driver's side serves a decorative purpose, but over on the passenger side, this opens to reveal the charging flap. So it's a very nice design touch. It, unlike most other plug-in hybrids, you see like a sort of like another cap here. The Mini actually took the effort to incorporate a design feature to hide the charging the charging port. Very nice. And of course, you look at the front end. The front end here, it's on one hand, it is classic Mini proportions with the big eye tail lights and the grille and the wide grille. But of course, they add also this gloss black finish to give it a sort of rugged SUV kind of appearance, right? And of course, if you look at the upper body, the entire upper body, the whole window line, the whole window area, all these, the pillars, all finished in black. Okay, so it is a very funky design car. So even though it is big, it is its size is no longer Mini, but the design in spirit is very, very Mini. Okay, and of course, to differentiate the plug-in hybrid variant from the regular models, the Cooper S, the S here, as well as the S here in front, finished in yellow, right? And also you also get this badge here that symbolizes is the plug-in hybrid variant. So this is a very nice design. It at one glance it looks like your electric plug, but if you look closely, this is an E shape to symbolize electric. Very nice design, right? So yeah, so overall this is the exterior of the Mini Countryman. And oh, check this out. So this part of the body, it bulges out. Okay, it bulges out. There's this nice, very gentle, very subtle character line here, so that it bulges the rear wheels out. It adds to the it gives a feeling of muscularity at the rear end. All right, so let's look in the boot. Okay, so this boot area is actually pretty decent if compared to a C segment hatchback. So it is big enough for one large suitcase or two cabin size suitcase. Certainly not as big as you would find in an SUV, say the size of a CR-V or CX-5, but I believe this is definitely comparable to that of a Subaru XV. So of course, every time when we review a plug-in hybrid car, we have gone accustomed to questioning how much does the battery affect your luggage capacity. So in the case of the Countryman, the non-plug-in hybrid Countryman, below the luggage floor, there's another hidden compartment. So the battery here takes up that space of the hidden compartment. So what is on top here is the same as what you get in the regular Countryman. So this is the bag in which the charging cable is provided. I like the fact that they provide this carabiner here to hook hook this over here. A very nice touch. You get a 12-volt socket here, and if you open underneath here, okay, so this is the type 2 cable, which you use this to charge at public charging ports. And this is a very interesting feature. So this little thing is actually a cushion. So you pull this down, okay, so this is a spot which you can sit on to enjoy a beautiful sunset view by the beach, or just chill at home and have a drink with your friends or family. Yeah, very nice touch. I like this feature. And the best part is there's a magnet here. Okay, so when you lift the flap up, it automatically latches back and you just close it. So you can do this with a one-handed operation. Very neat, very nice. I love this feature. And of course, the seats, okay, can fold down in a 40-20-40 split, but the thing is that you have to access the folding from the passenger side, which I would show you later. And powered closing. Okay, so let's look inside the rear section of the passenger compartment. And so you've got ISOFIX mounts here. I like that fact that the lid is the type where you just lift up. So this piece of plastic doesn't have to go missing. So just lift up the lid, and the ISOFIX mounts are within easy reach, right? So to fold the seats down, you pull this to release, and so you see there's a little gap here, but it's it's seamless enough that when you put a big heavy object, it doesn't rock about. So to fold the rest of it down, you can fold this, oops, drop this, and you fold this as well. You have to pull 2 times, right, and drop. So yeah, it's big enough for you to carry slightly bigger objects, but not the most practical in the market, but good enough in the context of a Mini. So now we raise this back. So this is no longer a two-handed operation. When you raise this, okay, you only go back this much up, so you have to pull this strap again to put it back into the correct position. All right. Okay. So you pull this down. This is the center armrest. Mechanism is quite familiar if you come from a BMW. This is a generic mechanism for the cup holders. So of course this latch here, this strap here also functions as your lever adjustment. So as your what you call recline adjusting. So you can pull this strap, okay, you can adjust your recline upright. So it's almost like a 2-step recline. Not bad. And so from here at the back, you get rear aircon vents, no individual rear aircon controls, but that's fine. You also get a charging port, 12-volt socket. So here at the doors, the door pockets are pretty deep, and it runs the full length of the door. Very nice. Okay, so let's look inside the dashboard, and of course now it has keyless entry, which is the button type keyless entry. So you have to press this button to lock and unlock. So look at the door card. So Mini has chosen to give this gloss black trim insert, okay, to match with the dark leather and plastic and hard plastic. So all these feel like good quality materials. This grade of plastic is certainly harder than what's on top here, but that's fine. In terms of quality wise, it's pretty alright. It's just that I feel this dark trim here they could have chosen a light color to give it a nicer contrast and give the the whole door cut added texture and flair. So you get the power window controls here. This is the the powered tailgate release, fuel cap release, and so the door bin. Okay, the door bin. This is nicely molded too. So you can slot your bottle at an angle here, and some longer objects, maybe like your touch and go, your smart tag here along here as well. Okay, so you get electric seat adjustment, and so here's the cabin. The architecture of this cabin pretty similar to the Clubman that I reviewed earlier, but not exactly the same. Okay, which actually we wouldn't have minded if Mini had recycled the Clubman's dashboard like for like here, but they took an effort to give it some distinguishing features. So let's start the engine first. So this is where you start the engine. Typical Mini fashion, they like to do things slightly differently, and so you just flick. You can either flick this up or press it down. Gets the job done either way. Yeah, so it's just cool to look at, and it is not too ergonomically distracting, if I would say. It's only a matter of, it's certainly not something that is out of reach or inconvenient. Okay, Mini likes to do things differently for the sake of doing things differently, but here at least, right, with this row of switches, all these switches are still within easy reach, and I believe that with acclimatization you will familiarize yourself with them quickly enough. Okay, so here's the instrument cluster. Now this is a pure analog instrument cluster with a small digital trip computer display. The fuel gauge too is different from what we saw earlier in the Clubman. Okay, the Clubman, you have those like one bar along here. This one is just sort of like an LCD display at the side here, running just next to the speedometer. Okay, and here instead of a tachometer, you get that what you call it, the power charge monitor gauge. Okay, so yeah, so none of the fancy virtual instrument clusters that you would see in a BMW. And so yeah, so but the thing is that this being Mini, right, with Mini, somehow you can tolerate this kind of quirks. If say you were to give an analog instrument cluster like this in a BMW 5 Series, sure kena kutuk one. But the funny thing is, the same customer who would demand for a virtual instrument cluster in a 5 Series come to the Mini, right, I don't think they will mind this pure analog instrument cluster at all. They will look at this as a quirk with the Mini, and that is a little uniqueness about the Mini brand, if you like. So it is a premium brand, make no mistake about it, but this is a premium brand which you can accept certain quirks about it just because. Just because, that's it. So here, this trademark round centered, now it's become, last time it used to be the speedometer, now it's just a screen. Okay, and if those of you coming from BMWs, this is very familiar. It is just an iDrive with a different skin, that's all. Okay, so the function wise, it's exactly the same as you would find in an iDrive fitted into a regular BMW model, just that everything is laid out with visual differentiation. The software, very obvious, is the same. And with the Countryman, you also get touch. This screen now incorporates touch. Don't think it has gesture control, no gesture control, but you do get touch feature. Okay, so coming down, you get dual zone climate control, and so here, right, you see here, this is a USB port, cigarette lighter, and an aux in socket. So here, down here, you get this is a pretty deep compartment with two cup holders, so you can chuck some of your items here, your smart tag, your handphone, your keys. This is useful. Okay, and this is the iDrive control knob. Same, it's basically the same as the BMW unit. It's just it's configured to look differently, but operational wise, exactly the same. Okay, so there's a 2-layer center console box here. So this one, maybe you can put your sunglasses here, for example. Lift this up. This is another storage cubby hole, which you can store bigger items. So overall, I would say this is a decently useful center console. Certainly far more practical than the previous generation minis. Yep. Okay, and of course you see this strip here, this ambient lighting strip here. It changes color according to the car's mood. So here is the glove box, and as you can see, the glove box here, this is lined with sort of like a piece of rubber, so to prevent things from sliding about in there. But overall, I would say this cabin, the design is good. It is unique, different from anything else in the market, yet at the same time it does not compromise too much on the practicality, and build quality feels very solid. Okay, all the gaps look consistent, the materials feel good to the touch, and yeah, so, and there are a lot, and like as with the exterior, a lot of nice small design touches for you to notice as you go along in your journey of ownership with this car. So for example, you see this Union Jack here inserted at the bottom spoke of the steering wheel. And let me just switch off the engine for a while. Pay attention to the trip computer screen. Okay, so now I switch off the engine and I open the door. See that? The car, an image of the car just came out and winked at you. So very nice. It gels into the overall brand concept of Mini, of being a fun-loving brand that has fun with you, that plays with you, is a playful brand that does not take itself too seriously. Now, we have always known Mini cars to offer that, you know, that sharp, that fun go-kart handling kind of sensation, you know, and also there's a bit of a bounciness to it, right? The current generation Mini, as I've experienced in the Mini 3-door, the Mini Clubman, okay, they've dialed away all that. So when you drive this present generation Mini models, okay, all the new F series Mini models, right? You still have that sharp, you know, that pointedness of its front end, but it is to a lesser degree than the previous generation models. But more importantly, the new Minis are comfortable. Okay, the ride, you know, the ride quality is much more livable on a day-to-day basis than previous generation Minis, which some may say, oh, you know, you're diluting the Mini brand and all that. But the other way of looking at it is that those owners from the R56 generation Mini, okay, they have put on a few more years in their life, and probably and you know, along with it, a few more years of wear and tear to their spinal cord and their bodies. So, you know, as the Mini population ages, right, they would presumably also need to move on to more comfortable and more refined cars, but yet at the same time they are not ready to step up to a BMW, you know, which would put themselves in a position where, you know, in a car that is more business-like, that is more serious, more somber, okay, whereas Mini is always a very fun kind of character, you know, a very fun-loving brand. Where BMWs, yes, it's driving pleasure, but it is of a different kind. It is of a more serious note, which Minis are not. In fact, right, I would say the comfort levels of the Mini is not on par with current generation BMW models. But I would say if you drive a BMW E60 or a BMW E90, you come to this, the comfort levels are thereabouts on par, you know, and the Mini is very quiet on the move, okay? Especially now, especially with this PHEV version, when the electric motor does the driving, this car is amazingly quiet on the move. And to say that the handling of this car has softened, well, if you compare it to previous generation Minis, yes, it has, but not to the point where it's no longer enjoyable. It is if you compare this to most regular C-segment hatchbacks in the market, this is still a ton more fun to drive. And you know, the engine performance, it feels peppy, it feels eager. There is a very good shelf, even when your battery is depleted. This 1.5 liter engine is still a very eager engine to drive, and it is one of the better power plants in the BMW group. Okay, I would actually prefer the characteristics of this 1.5 liter engine over the 2 liter B48 engine. The 2 liter B48 engine, yes, it is more powerful, it is more flexible, it is more capable, but this 1.5 liter engine has more soul to it. It has more, you know, you get a bit more joy when you rev this engine hard, you know, whereas the B48, right, is all business. It's all like, okay, you want speed, right? Nah, pop, I give you, here is a ton of speed, take it. The B48, this B38, this 3-cylinder engine, you need to work it a bit harder, but you get a bit more satisfaction in doing so. So because, right, the 3-cylinder engine is naturally a bit rougher around the edges than a 4-cylinder, driving this versus, say, the 530e or the 330e, you will pick up the transitions between petrol and electric driving more readily, more easily, okay, simply because the 3-cylinder engine starts up with a bit more vibrations than the 4-cylinder. It's natural, but it's not in any way bad. It's not the kind of startup that, you know, that will shake up the cabin, no. But you can hear it more readily than the 4-cylinder. That's about it. Okay, so overall, right, with 240 odd grand to spend, naturally most of you would probably look at the BMW 330e or the BMW X1 as a more sensible purchase. But the Countryman, okay, but see, the thing is that the mini vehicles in general is never about being sensible. Minis are always, you know, statements of style. You know, it's always a car you buy that, you know, you want to communicate the fact that you are young, you are affluent, you are fun-loving, right? You know how to you're a kind of person with a bit of taste of flair in life, whereas a BMW owner is one with, you know, it's a bit more business. It is a bit more serious about himself. But this is not to say that the Mini, the Countryman, especially the Countryman, right, is not a practical car at all. It is. Okay, as you have watched earlier in the video, there are quite a number of practical touches, you know, line out from front to back of the car. For example, like, you know, that little cushion bench on the boot, that's one. And of course, the boot itself, it is decently spacious despite being a PHEV. The center console, to me, this is, I would say, right, this is the best laid out center console I've ever seen in the Mini. I mean, at least, right, for the first time, or at least the second time in a long time, in previous years, right, whenever I test drive a Mini, I always struggle to look for places to put my things. Not anymore. There are enough cubby holes to swallow all my keys, my phones, my smart tags, everything. So if you say this is not is this not a practical car? It is. This is a practical car. But it is not a serious car. It is a car that is a bit cheeky. It portrays a bit of a cheeky image, just that they have maximized a bit of its practical side. So if let's say like you're a previous generation Mini owner, you have grown up a bit, all right? You know, you have more practical concerns. You have family commitments now, okay? But at heart, you are still, you know, you're still young at heart. You're still fun-loving. You still, you know, you still don't want to take yourself too seriously. This is not bad. This really is not a bad solution, because it still carries the persona, if you like, of your previous generation Mini. It's made more comfortable. It's made more practical. It still looks like nothing else on the road. It's still, you know, when you drive this up, people look at you versus people look at your previous gen Mini. People still see the same. Hey, this guy is in a Mini. This guy is a young person at heart. Yeah. So this is really, I would say, a Mini for the Mini owners which are still young at heart, but with a bit more responsibilities to take on. Yeah. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you like my videos, please press the subscribe button below. Okay, so until my next video, thanks for watching. Bye for now.